Straight to that breaking news in Melbourne this morning. Arrests made over the death of Victorian doctor Ash Gordon.
Shocked friends and colleagues have paid tribute to a talented young doctor who was killed after a home invasion in Doncaster.
The family of a doctor stabbed to death outside his Doncaster home is calling for tougher laws on youth crime.
He was the young doctor who had his life stolen, and his family want the killers to pay.
I'd rather see him rot in hell. Why should he get to see the light of day when my brother will never ever see the light of day? My mum and dad are completely and utterly broken, and you shouldn't ever bury your children, especially, in such a way, such a vicious way.
Stabbings, home invasions, vicious assaults. Hardened teenage criminals out of control in Victoria. Ash Gordon, a GP, found a group of teens rifling through his things at his home here on Sargent Street in Doncaster. Moments later, he'd be dead, lying in a pool of his own blood here on Eildon Street as his teenage killers fled. In a murder so brutal, it marked a fatal turning point in Victoria's youth crime crisis. His sister Natalie has led the crusade for justice ever since.
I picked up the phone. I said hello a few times and I was like, "What? Hello?" And I heard a deep breath and I was like, "Oh no." And then Dad said, "We've lost Ash." I was like, "What?" I said, "What are you talking about?" And he said, "We've lost Ashley." I said, "What do you mean we've lost him? Where's he gone?" Like, I was talking to him last night and he's like, "No, he's been murdered." I won't repeat what come out of my mouth, and I just instantly started shaking. I sort of put the phone down and I did let out a scream, and I did go and get into the shower, and my whole body was trembling. I was just shaking and I was trying to take deep breaths and calm myself down. How could this happen to not only my brother, who was such an awesome person, but our family? Like, we're not involved in bad things. We don't do the wrong things.
Natalie couldn't understand how her world was collapsing around her. She had just spoken to her brother a couple of days before.
I had fully intended to be going and having lunch with my brother on the Monday, and we hadn't spoken for, probably about a week. And finally we got in touch with each other, and we were on the phone for a good, probably nearly 2 hours. I ended up having to cut the phone call short so I could take my youngest into a birthday party. He really cared about his image, and he put everything into being the best doctor he could be, presenting himself well. And he said to me, "We lack great GPs in our community." He said, "So I just want to be the best, and I want to give them that critical first point of contact with the doctor at the absolute best standard I can ever give it." He was well on his way to doing that. He'd already saved lives. I have received so many letters from patients just saying how much he changed their lives. So he was a giver. He was a carer and a giver.
Ash wasn't just a brother, a son. He was a dedicated doctor, a man who lived to serve, who put his patients first, even if it meant missing family events. His life was a testament to compassion, a life tragically cut short. 2 boys aged just 16 years old would be charged with murdering Ash. One boy has had his murder charge downgraded, pleading guilty to lesser crimes and serving time in youth detention. Days after he was released, he re-emerged on social media with a shocking post bragging about owning a machete. A jury has found the second 16-year-old guilty of Ash's murder, and now Ash's family will lay their pain bare in the Supreme Court before the teen is sentenced.
I don't want him to see the light of day. Why should he get to see the light of day when my brother will never ever see the light of day? You continued to stab him 11 times. Yet you'll get the opportunity to walk free and create a life for yourself. Ashley's life was just beginning. The main offender in Ashley's incident didn't have a terrible upbringing at all, and he probably had the most influence to go down the correct road still chose not to because we enable their bad behaviour. My mum and dad are completely and utterly broken, and you shouldn't ever bury your children, especially, in such a way, such a vicious way. It's been extremely, extremely draining. We shy away from simple things like shopping. We shy away from celebrations. It's just, I don't like the idea of feeling joy when he's not here. It's gut-wrenching to think that people just continue to not take notice of these situations. That, the youth of Victoria, or even Australia really, are not learning anything from this, and the government continues to essentially bury their head in the sand and not act quickly or drastically.
Ash has become the face of a death toll in Victoria that has continued to climb. Since his murder, these Victorians have also died in crimes that couldn't be stopped by harsher bail laws or machete drop-off bins.
We really need to start acting, and before it continues to filter out into the community and more innocent lives are lost, let's push hard on the government, because at the moment they're not doing anything. They're talking a lot, but they don't actually act.